Now, there's a reason why we want to stop at 15. Okay. Because we say that hexadecimal here is easier to convert than decimals. Hexadecimal is easier to convert to binary than convert decimal to binary. Okay, so first let's take a look, how do we convert decimals to binary and why do we need to do that? So the first reason is we don't want to keep increasing, like tracing the number, like 17 is going to be 10001 like that, right? Because the question could be, I have 256, so what should be a binary number? How do we do that without using the program or the website, right, or calculator? So which in your case most likely you're not allowed to do that, to use calculator or website to convert for you. So in this class exercise, Introduction1, you should try to manually do it by yourself, then you can work the test. So I said we can take 256 divided by 2, because y2 is for the binary, right? That's 2, so that's why I divide by 2. So now if I take this number divided by 2, what do I get? Remember, I have to keep track on my remainders. 2. So 256 divided by 2 is going to be 2 divided by 2 is 1. 5 is what? 224, right? So 8, right? So 128, remainder is 0, right? And keep dividing by 2. So 128 divided by 2, what do we get? 2624, so I get 0 again, right? So 64 divided by 2, 32, and remainder is 0, so keep tracking on that. And 32 divided by 2, 16, and remainder is 0. Now 16 divided by 2 is 8, remainder is 0, right? And 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 0 again. So I happen to pick the number that remainders are all 0, because there's a situation you may have 1, right? So 4 divided by 2 is 2, remainder is 0. And 2 divided by 2, what do you get? 1, right? 2 divided by 2, remainder is 0, right? 1. And then you take 1 divided by 2, you get 0, remainder 1. So the remainder part here, this is where you just convert to binary numbers. So when we rewrite this, we can just, if you want to write by keep tracking from the bottom down here, then you just go from your right, O, how many O? To left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so we will have 8, 0, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1. So that pretty much a binary of that 256. Because if you keep increasing this number to that number, it's going to be taking too long, right? Now, let me just give you another example. Let's say I just give you 54. So let's do it again. So I'm going to start 54 here. And we said 54, if you want to do binary, we have to divide by 2. What do you get? 27. Right, remainder is 0. 27 divided by 2, how many? 13, remainder is 1, correct? And then I have to take 13 divided by 2. So you will keep dividing until you get 0 at the end. So 13 divided by 2, we have 6, remainder is 1. And 6 divided by 2, what do we get? 3, remainder is 0. 3 divided by 2, 1, remainder is 1. And then 1 divided by 2, 0, remainder is 1. So now at the end we get 0, so we stop. So now we're going to, like I said, if you go to the top down, then you have to write from right to left, right? So in this case, if you go to bottom up, then you just write left to right, right? So if I go to from bottom up, so I have 110, 110. Okay? So 54 is 110, 110 in binary. And we can test to if we want to check if it's correct or not. How do we check? We pretty much just either use calculator or convert binary back to decimal. So how do we convert binary back to decimal? This is going to be very easy if you understand the principle of exponents in decimal. So, for example, in decimal, if I'm writing number 125, we know that 125 is coming from 1 multiplied by 100, right? And 2 multiplied by 10, right? And 5 multiplied by 1. So let me see, this is your 100, and this is your 20, and this is your 5. So I'm trying to see 125, right? And then you can just sum them, right? Then you get 125, correct? Because if you learn your algebra exponents, we said this is going to be the sum, right? So you get a sum. So after you sum off this number, let me just take this one out and put equals. So this should be equals to 125. And we just break it out, right, into the term of one times 100, 2 times 10, 5 times 1. I will get 125. But if you look at the exponents, exponents mean 5. So what 5 actually times 10 to the exponent 0, right? 10 to the power 0, correct? So now I'm going to use this as to the power, or if I want to do superscript, let me just use this symbols, okay, to represent to the power 0. And this is what 10 to the power 1, right? Because 10 to the power 1 is 10. 10 to the power 0 is 1, right? What was 10 to the power 0 is going to be 1. And this is going to be 10 to the power of 2. Let's give you 100. Correct? And why 10? We already know why 10. I just highlight that part. Why 10? Because decimal, right? Decimal give you 10. Decimal is 10, so that's why exponents has to be 10. So that means if I'm talking about binary, then let's compare that. So I have the number of binary, which is what we're learning here. We try to learn how to convert binary back to decimal, right? So we said we have binary number. Let's pick one. I'm going to pick that number. Or let's pick this one because we want to check that, right? Let's pick that one. 110, 1110. We don't know what is the decimal of that format. Okay, let's assume we don't know. But this is the number that we want to find. So I'm going to break it down into each cell. 1, and then what? 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. Just like the way I did in 125, right? Correct? What should be the exponents? Like we see that 1, this one exponent is 10 to the 2, correct? Let me just insert. Well, I'm talking about 1, 2, 5, right? So this one is 1 times 10 to the 2. This 2 is 2 times 10 to the 1. This 5 is 5 times 10 to the 0. So that should be the same thing. This one is going to be 1, right? Let's start from the right. It's going to be easier. This 0 is going to be what? 0 times 2 to the, and why 2? Because it's binary, right? 2 to the 0. And we will do sum, right? We will do this sum just like this. And we're going to have to sum for each of this. Now this is going to be 1 times 2 to the 1, right? So this is 1 times 2 to the 2. 0 times 'So each of them is going to be summation, so I'm going to add the summation. Now we get to 0. So 0 times 2 to the 3, right? And this is going to be 1 times 2 to the